5 titles in 5 years. The Virginia Cavaliers cemented themselves in the NCAA history books last year as the 3rd team ever to accomplish a 5-peat. But a 6th consecutive title would allow this dynasty to stand alone as the only women's team to ever do it. But there are many knocking at the door to disrupt the party and change the game. Can the Cavaliers get their 6th in 2026? We find out now as the NCAA Swimming and Diving Championships begin from Atlanta. ESPN brings you to Atlanta, to the Georgia Tech campus and the beautiful Macaulay Aquatic Center, very fitting home for the 2026 NCAA Women's Swimming and Diving Championships. Most of America's best women's swimmers and divers are here. What does this mean? Here's your proof. 3 products of American college swimming and diving, all 3 Olympic medalists. This is still a huge matter of significance, Rowdy, and this year with a different format.
Yeah, it's a new day, a new look, Ted, no doubt about it. But the biggest change I think that most people will notice, no B finals. That means only the top 8 swimmers from the morning will swim at night. It's a true championship meet. Doesn't mean that the 9 through 16 points are not scored, but they'll have to come out in the morning. Event changes a little bit, but the bottom line, Cynthia, I really think that if this sport is to continue to thrive, both swimming and diving, these changes are absolutely necessary.
It's just a wonderful opportunity. The divers will have a split session in the finals. The top 8 divers will do 3 dives and then 2 dives, or 3 and 3 depending on the event. And if they're doing well, they can strategize about what they're doing so wonderfully and how to continue it. And if they're not, they can talk about what they need to rearrange in order for that to happen. It's fabulous.
All right, we've heard from the veterans. Elizabeth, chime in for the young ones.
I know it's so different, but it's been great to be on the pool deck and talk to the young ones about how they feel about this. And I do think it's a mixed bag, but the one overarching theme that I've seen consistent is that they can't do anything about this, and they're going to rise to the occasion of this new format, and they're going to lean into it and do the best that they can.
All right, now to the competition. Rowdy, how much of a favorite is Virginia?
Well, there is a reason, many reasons why Virginia has won 5 titles in a row. Look at the gap between 1st and 2nd. The biggest one may be the superstars. You know, you have the Walsh sisters, you had the Douglases. They're not there anymore, but they have great depth. And I think when you talk about the depth that Todd DeSorbo continues to load and reload every year, this might be his deepest team.
All right, Elizabeth, give us a read on the Virginia vibe.
The Virginia vibe is insane, and I was able to talk to Todd DeSorbo about that vibe, and he said, this is not 6 in a row for us. This is number 1. We have a fresh new team, a fresh new mantra, and they are doing everything in their power to get this 6-peat, but with a fresher, newer look, and it seems to be working so far.
Well, our first event, the 200-yard medley relay. Virginia's record swim last year to win this title. And amazingly, Rodney, just one swimmer from that foursome is back this year.
It's a pretty good swimmer in Claire Curzan, but you're right, no Walsh sisters here, but they haven't skipped a beat. Still the fastest time in the country so far.
And there is the foursome for Virginia, just Claire Curzan on the butterfly. And Bryn Greenwald, a fascinating story, will swim the anchor leg.
Big favorites right there in the middle of the pool. Tennessee will be tough, though. Jillian Crooks leading it off.
And Rowdy, here's our first real look at these championships at life after the Walshes.
Yep.
For Virginia.
And nothing epitomizes that more than this race, because both Walsh sisters were on this relay when they went the fastest time in history. Brand new look, same old story though. Virginia top qualifier, and this team went the 3rd fastest time in history just a few months ago, so they are still going to be the big favorites here.
Virginia with only one, Sarah Curtis in the pool now, but Claire Curzan on the fly will be the only member of last year's team back.
Yeah, and Curzan actually swims the butterfly here. That's what's the big difference. She swam the backstroke last year, got Virginia off to a big lead. This time, a little bit different. She's going to have to maybe run some people down on this one. A lot closer than a lot of people thought coming in at the halfway point.
Louisville with a terrific breaststroker, Anastasia Gordenko.
And Stanford is right
Wow.
there. Wow, what a swim by Stanford at the halfway point. A lot of that was Tori Husk, who is the flyer who swam backstroke for Stanford. Great turn there for Curzan. Wow!
And out of the anchor leg for Virginia.
21-5 for Claire Curzan. 21-5 on that split for her.
Bryn Greenwald in the pool for Virginia. Anam Olasaware, a freshman for Stanford. But it's Virginia pulling. And Virginia will defend Louisville, and Stanford tied for second. Wow. New team, same result.
Yep. And still one of the and now they own the top 10 times in history. The Virginia Cavaliers, 10 fastest ever swum. They just bumped NC State out of that 10th spot on the fastest times in history. And there's Claire Curzan right there doing a spectacular job on the butterfly, flips from her back, does the same thing on her stomach with the butterfly. It is under review. They are not official.
And again, here it is at the wall.
Yeah, this is the halfway
yep.
point. Hard to see anything there. I mean, I can't tell anything from that position, but that's the great spot where the referees can see that. They're overlooking at it right away, but it's all electronic anyway. Right there in the middle of the pool, no question about it. Easy at the end. Greenwald, they're actually looking at...
They're looking at Cal.
Cal, okay.
And was up top in lane 7. Cal placed 5th. And that's and is that an early start? Is that what they'd be looking at?
It's, well, not necessarily, but most likely an early start. That's where most DQs happen on a relay.
And Cal has been disqualified, so that is confirmed. So Cal is DQ'd.
That's tough. I hate to see that for any team. I just know it's not devastating. Yeah. It's just tough, man.
So, so it does not change the top 4, but then after that you see 5, 6, 7 all move up.
Texas's time from this morning will move them up to 7th. How about Alabama sneaks in there for 8th?
All right, let's join Elizabeth.
University of Virginia, you just win this relay for the 5th time in a row. Claire, an incredible split. What type of message does this send to the rest of the field here this weekend, winning a relay on night 1?
I think we're just ready to rock and roll. I think ACCs, we knew we could be a lot better, so I'm really happy the whole relay came together, and we've been really focusing in practice and just waiting for this relay because it really kicks the meat off, so just trying to make a statement.
Well, the statement was made. You are the first NCAA champion in a relay. University of Virginia!
All right, 3 of the 4 swimmers new, but it's once again Virginia in the medley relay. All right, the updated team standings, Virginia with a 20-point lead and Texas with a 19-point edge on Michigan for second. All right, so we start with the 100 fly in the race that Elizabeth just pointed out. Head-to-head in the post-Gretchen Walsh era now, Tori Husk and Claire Curzan. That's a pretty good resume, Rowdy. Tori Husk.
Sure is. Nothing beats that
the shining
Olympic
gold
medal, right? And we were just talking about that, and yeah, that's a special resume right there for the all-timer.
So 4 straight years, 2 of the greats, and Kay Douglas and Gretchen Walsh have won this event. Well, we have these 8 to swim in the first championship final of the night. A freshman just turned 19 from Cal, Annie Gia. She did compete in the 24 trials. junior at IU, Miranda Grana, will swim out of lane 1. She was 3rd in this at the Big Ten Championships. Interesting swimmer, Tennessee freshman Mizuki Hirai, 19-year-old from Japan. She was 2nd in the SECs. 3 big conferences kind of place everybody in these in a lot of these finals. Campbell Stoll, junior from Texas, she won the SECs in this 100 fly. Stanford senior Gigi Johnson, 3rd at the ACC championships. And Indiana freshman Alex Shackle, who won the Big Ten title. Of course, part of 2 medal-winning performances in relays in Paris. And the show stars Tori Husk, who at the ACC championships from her personal best, 48.26, 5th best all-time NCAA. And right next to her is Curzan, who was 2nd to Husk by 21/100ths in the ACC.
This event is just unbelievable in the way the fact that you've got 3 Olympians right there in the middle of the pool. That's where the race will come from. 3, 4, and 5. Husk has the fastest time in the country this year. 2nd qualifier. I thought Curzan looked spectacular on their medley relay earlier in the meet. 21.5, one of the fastest splits in history. Curzan will be out. The dark horse in all this, Ted, Alex Shackle. Could she maybe break up this stranglehold these 2 swimmers have?
And she went under 50 in her heat, 49.95 Shackle did.
Take your marks.
Well, she's gonna have to do it in the back half because nobody has the speed like Husk, and especially Curzan, believe it or not. I think Curzan might just be first at the 50. Husk will have to do it in the back half. But she has been money so many times during her career. It's gonna be tough to take down the senior from Stanford.
Both Husk and Curzan swam their personal best a month ago to win their conference title, so they're right there.
22.3 on the way out for Curzan. Right behind her, though, was Husk at 22.4. Look at this, great turns. Both of them are so good underwater. Husk came up with a slight lead, though.
Here's the race we hope for, right to the wall, and it's Husk who wins it by 6/100ths. Curzan 2nd, Shackle 3rd. The top 3, the only ones that went under 50.
Wow. It lived up to the billing, didn't it? I mean, every single thing we thought this race was going to shape up wise, it was exactly that, wasn't it? I mean, it was so cool to be able to watch 2 of the best ever to do it go back and forth, back and forth. But it really was that last turn by Husk. Both of them get off to a great start. Here's the last turn right there in the middle of the pool. You can't miss them. Watch what they do when they come off the wall. They both stay underneath the water. Both of them having that great undulation. But the pop-up, I thought Claire maybe popped up a little too late at the end there. Didn't have enough. I thought maybe she even had a chance to chase her down. Long on the finish for Curzan, right underneath Husk. And then Husk hitting that wall. Looked a little like Michael Phelps back in 08, hitting that wall with that half stroke.
6/100ths, just 2 brilliant swimmers. And a young one in Shackle has made, I mean, obviously an Olympian as well, but she's announced her appearance. But Tori Husk, 2nd last year, now national champ in the 100 fly, and she's with Elizabeth Beisel.
Tori Husk, you have an Olympic gold medal in this event, and now you have an NCAA championship title. As a senior, talk to me about how special this moment is for you right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's super special. I just wanted to represent my team well. And yeah, I knew that Claire always brings it on that race, so I was just super excited to race her. And Gigi had an amazing swim as always. I feel like every time she
swims, she's like going her best time or just doing super well, so it was exciting.
Your coaches told me earlier that you swim your best when the lights are the brightest and you go somewhere about 20 minutes before your race. What are you thinking about in those moments leading up to the ready room and the race?
I don't know, I feel like sometimes I'm like doing like a mental checklist of my body and like making sure that everything feels good and like shaking it out one by one, so yeah.
An incredible race. You get that NCAA title in the 100 fly. Tori Husk, your NCAA champion!
And how nice. Stanford gets both first and fourth place points. Gigi Johnson placing fourth. The Cardinal excited as Tori Husk gets them off on this night with a title. Picture proof of a dynasty. Virginia women, the 2020s dynasty, 5 and counting.
Yeah, it has been quite the amazing streak, hasn't it, Ted? And different personnel every year. Obviously, with 5 years running, it changes quite a bit. The mainstay has obviously been that head coach, Todd DeSorbo. And it's a pretty exclusive club, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, it is. Stanford with its incredible run in the 90s, preceded by Texas in the 80s. So Virginia trying to do something, and they're in the lead right now. That's never been before, and that's always special, whatever it is. 6 straight. The 200 free coming up. How about a record that's 11 years old, Rowdy?
Oldest on the books on the women's side, at least for swimming. That is one old record. And boy, we've had some swimmers flirt with it, haven't we? I mean, the relay alone, unbelievable.
The women's 200 free, the finalist Camille Spink, swimmer for Tennessee, a junior. She just won this last month at the SEC Championships. Second last year here at the NCAAs, Nina Abraham from USC. Junior, young junior, just a few days shy of her 20th birthday. UVA freshman Maddie Mintenko. Had a terrific freshman year, second in this at the ACCs. All right, keep going with the freshman. Claire Weinstein, we saw her put on some performance in the mile swim.
Sure did. The lone U.S. Olympian in here. A couple Olympians, Padar is.
Sophomore from Cal is Mia West.
2 swimmers from Cal here. Dave Durden doing the job at Cal on the women's side. So many years for the men, but now only team with 2 swimmers here, along with Virginia, 2 swimmers here in the final.
Now here's an 18-year-old that's opened some eyes. Indiana's Liberty Clark. She won this in the Big Ten championships a month ago, and in the relay last night, an astounding 1:39.7.
One of 4 freshmen has the 3rd fastest time in history now with that lead-off leg.
Anna Mosch won the ACC championships in a time last month just 2 100ths behind the time Clark swam last night.
And let's go back to the relay earlier again. Fastest relay split in history for Mosch, 1:39 flat.
And a freshman for Texas, native of Hungary, Nicolette Padar, swam a lifetime best last night, 140.3. Anna Mosch. Elizabeth, what's your take?
I love Anna Mosch for this. She's had nothing but momentum behind her. She told me earlier, her season has been centered around getting comfortable being uncomfortable, and she could very well be within striking distance of the oldest standing NCAA record, like Rowdy said, Missy Franklin's 1:39.1 from 2015.
A lot of swimmers have been flirting with that time. Don't count out this freshman, Padar. She could pull what would be considered an upset, basically, because of what Mosch and Clark have done over the last month. It is the top qualifier.
What Clark did last night, only the 5th swimmer to ever go under 140.
is insane. 24 swimmers were under 144 this year alone. Last year, only 15 broke 144. It has got, you had to be way under 143 just to make it. There were 13 swimmers under 143. This event has gotten so fast.
142.28 was the 8th qualifier. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it really has excelled in so many different ways. And when you talk about the top 3 in here with Padar, Moshe, Clark, 3rd, 4th, and 5th fastest swimmers ever, this is an exceptional field, fastest field in history, top to bottom.
Moshe coming in, and at the 100 flip, Spink up top was doing well, but it was Moshe and Padar separated by just 0.3.
Yeah, Spink's gonna have some early speed. I don't think she can match up. Great speed in the 1500, she'll be a factor. But here in the 200, I really like the way that 49 flat, that nice and easy 49 flat look for.
And look who's
with
coming.
Moshe.
Liberty Clark in 3.
Liberty Clark's looking good, but boy, I mean, you look at that split, 25-2, Moshe still outsplit Clark.
But Clark has passed Padar.
Yeah, the only way, nobody's catching Moshe except for Clark. I mean, Moshe looks too good right now. Great turn, though, there by Clark.
And look at Moshe, though. She has the gear. She has the gear. And Moshe comes in to win it for Virginia. Clark of Indiana 2nd. Padar, Texas 3rd.
That is now the 2nd fastest time in history.
Just 13 100ths off Missy Franklin.
So close. The record will stand up yet again. It will be a 10-year-old record when we get that.
Well,
a 12-year-old record next year.
It's congratulations to Moshe, but guess what? That's a tip to Missy. How many great swimmers have had a shot at that?
Yeah.
And it's still standing.
What a swim. Liberty Clark, another follow-up for her from last night. Here's the 100 turn. I just thought she looked so easy going out. I didn't think she took a hard stroke on a 49 flat. If you've got the lead at 49 flat, looking at as easy as she did, she knew exactly where she was in the race. Nice to be right there, sort of in the middle. She didn't have that premier lane in lane 4, but boy, it wasn't even close. 0.6 of a second. Clark having a great swim, another fine swim by Padar, another 40 point for her. But this was all Anna Moshe. And it's so close to that record.
The next to last leg, that 150 to 175, Clark pushed.
Yeah.
And she got close, and then Moshe just said,
nope,
not mine.
Not happening here.
So there's the finals. UVA gets first place points, Indiana 2nd, Texas with Padar 3rd, and Abraham of USC 4th. Good swim from Intenko of Virginia to place 5th. All right, let's hear from Anna Moshe right now. Elizabeth?
Anna Moshe, you've had nothing but momentum behind you over the last year. You were 4th last year. You are now the national champion, 139.2. You've talked about how you've worked on getting comfortable being uncomfortable. How much did that help you tonight?
I think it helped me a lot. I think that's what I've worked on the most all year this year, and I think to have it come into play means a lot to me, so I'm really excited about that.
You've talked also about that last 50 and how sometimes you have maybe a little bit too much left in the tank. Yeah. How was this last 50 tonight?
I think I tried to not think about it as much as possible because I knew it was going to hurt. But I think when it gets to that time, I'd have to put my head down and just go, and I think that's what I did. So.
Anna Moshe, you are the 2nd fastest performer ever, and you are the 200 freestyle national champion. Ladies and gentlemen, Anna Moshe!
And teammates and families and supporters, a great swim. Again, close, the closest anybody's come to a record still standing after 11 years. Anna Moshe, national champion. No problem for Virginia, boosting their lead. NCAA Women's Swimming and Diving Championships are on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com. It's your home for all NCAA championships. And you can see how Virginia has pushed out Texas jumps back ahead of Stanford for second, and we're in night 2 of 4, but you're already seeing the point you made last night, Rowdy, the depth of Virginia. I mean, they gave up diving, and they're still pulling away.
The depth of both the A final and that 9th through 16th place. They have it all.
Heavy international flavor in the 100-yard breaststroke final. 4 international swimmers, but look who's in lane 4. Mackenzie Soroki, who swam her lifetime best in the prelims. Terrific story that she had. She was a youth hockey player. She had committed a full scholarship to play hockey at Minnesota Duluth, and then she started breaking state records in Michigan in the pool. And guess where she ended up?
Under a pretty good program, right? Matt Credits, the head coach there, doing a great job every year. Battazo has the 2nd fastest time. This field, it's like the 200 free. I mean, it's the fastest field in history. It took under 58 seconds to make it back. Great all around, as you said. 5 different countries represented. This is a very unique event that could, it's really a toss-up.
And you want to talk about if it's an omen, Soroki went the 3rd fastest time this year in the heats earlier today.
Yeah.
Her personal best.
One of 3 that broke 57.
Take your marks.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting. I think Soroki has the most speed along with Battazo. If Soroki can get it out with enough of a lead, they got to get the lead on Yefimova and Gorbenko, because both of those swimmers can definitely come back on the second half. Yefimova is 3 from the bottom. She's kind of hanging in there at the beginning. There's Yefimova right there, Ted.
And at the touch, it's Battazo at the 50.
Yeah, look at both of these swimmers. Very tight. 15 100ths of a second separated those 3 swimmers. Yefimova had the fastest split in the morning, the last 25.
Well, look at this. Yefimova's pulling away a little bit. And as they come to the wall, Yefimova is going to have it for NC State. Soroki 2nd, Battazo 3rd.
No, they tied, I think. They tied for second.
They did tie for second,
right?
57 flat. Tied for 2nd.
But 56-3. And we said flip a coin at the beginning, Ted?
Yep.
No way.
Well, that's faster than Alex Walsh's winning time last year.
Yeah, fastest time. That's actually the 5th fastest time in history. It ties Lily King with the 5th fastest time. I knew she was in good shape. She was 2nd at the 50, but hundreds. I knew that if she turned evenly with the rest of the swimmers, this was going to be her race, because she's just been so good year in and year out. As a high schooler and now as a collegian on the back half of a race. It was a brilliant race for her. She knew she had to get out on these swimmers because she knew she could come back. That's just, it's a brilliant swim for a freshman.
And Rowdy, it's amazing because it was so tight until that last 25, and she ends up winning by 7/10.
Yeah.
And you see the tie for 2nd, Soroki, Tennessee, and Battazo, Florida. Let's hear from the winner, Elizabeth.
Annalie Yefimova, just a freshman. You are now an NCAA champion. What does this trophy represent to you?
Well, it represents that I don't know actually, that even if I'm from Europe, from far away from home, and I'm still capable of doing such things and like doing BBs, I'm really proud to represent NC State and Wolfpack women, and yeah, just like all of emotions right now.
Hardly ever swimming yards. You are now the 5th fastest performer ever in that event. What do you think when I tell you that?
Well, actually, I still don't really understand yard times, so it's really new to me. Yeah, I've swum it like, I don't know, 10 times maybe, but now, yeah, I think it's a great time. It's a BB, so yeah, I'm happy with it.
I think so too, and now you are one of the best to ever do it. Annalie, congratulations. You are an NCAA champion. Ladies and gentlemen, Annalie Yefimova!
Right here, Emily. Right here, Emily.
Yep, terrific finish for a young swimmer, giving a lot of hope to her home country, and NC State gets first place points. In the Capital One Cup, teams are competing for a combined $500,000 in student athlete scholarships from Capital One. In the current standings, you see the tie between Florida State and Texas A&M, with Stanford coming in third. All right, the updated team standings. Virginia continues to pull away. Now, how about Cal, just a half point out of fifth now, Rowdy?
Yeah, moving up.
All right, the 50 free, a lot of fun here. Gretchen Walsh, again, dominant in so many events, but how about this one? Top 10 performances, all Gretchen Walsh. And look at this, Rowdy. Explain.
Well, you know, you look at the top 8 swimmers in this race, separated by 0.4 of a second. You think that's close? How about the top 3, 6 100s? I tried earlier to start and stop the stopwatch there by 6 100s. I wasn't even close. Oh, I got 9 100s.
You did.
How about that?
That's a perfect visual of a thin margin. Much anticipated field in this 50 free. 3 freshmen made the final. So did Julia Dennis from Louisville, who placed third last year, and Tori Husk of Stanford, who's already won the 100 fly. Sarah Curtis, a freshman, what an impressive relay swim we saw from her in the 200 free. The anchor leg blasted.
20.5 on that relay split. Husk was also very, very fast at 20.5. I mean, again, I talked about Curtis, Spink, and Husk. All have broken 21. All 3 separated by 6 100ths of a second. But the field itself, Ted, separated by only 0.4 of a second.
Amazing.
You have to be perfect. I mean, that's what the 50 boils down to. We saw a world record for the 50-meter freestyle by the men earlier in the day, and that race had to be perfect to break a world record. The same thing here. You're gonna have to be perfect to win. No mistakes.
Take your marks.
Good fair start across the board. Nothing electric that I saw. Dennis stayed under the water the longest, right there, lane number 3. She comes in with a 21 flat.
Husk got out in 9.9.
Great.
Tori Husk. Is there going to be Tori Husk to the wall? Yes, it is. Tori Husk wins it. Tori Husk went out in 9.9 and wins it in 26.6.
Wow. What?
By far her fastest time. Lifetime best by 26 100ths.
And she breaks that stranglehold that Gretchen Walsh has had on that 50 freestyle. Still the record holder, but now Husk is the 7th fastest time in history, but not far behind is Sarah Curtis at 20.7.
Sarah Curtis of Virginia second, Camille Spink, Tennessee third.
There is Husk on the right-hand side of your screen. Great start, and she has the best underwater by far in this group. You know why? Because she's the Olympic gold medalist in the 100 butterfly, but right there, she turns perfectly, has that great turn, gets real deep. See how deep she is, Ted? She almost disappears from view, and then no stopping that train coming home, baby. 9.9, 10.7, sticks it, wins it. 2-time champ now.
And her second individual title, right? She won the 100 fly. She adds the 50 free as you see the final standings. And let's hear now from Tori Husk. Elizabeth?
Tori Husk, your second individual title here at this meet, this time in the 50 free. You drop a quarter of a second and you become the second fastest performer in history. In an event that is so meticulous, what did you need to focus on tonight in order to come out on top?
Yeah, I was trying to really focus on the front half of my race and having a really good start. I feel like that was a weaker point this morning. And I just kind of knew that I would have to have like the perfect race. I mean, it's anyone's game in the 50, and this competition right here is some of the best in the world, so I was just really excited to race them.
Well, you are now another time national champion. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, Tori Husk!
Now let's take a look at other swimmers who've won national championships in freestyle events here.
It's going to be tough to hold up against this field full of quote-unquote distance-type swimmers.
Yeah.
But if anybody can do it, it can be Claire Weinstein. Why not? They're all starting to gain on Claire. I think Jillian Cox is going to go by.
And here comes Jillian Cox to go back-to-back in the 1650 for Texas. Weinstein grabs second for Cal. And look at that sprint for third. This is going to be an interesting finish, and it is Katie Grimes that just outtouches Jenna Jorgensen of Nebraska. Can Weinstein pull off a stunner?
She is 7/10 of a second ahead. Cox is going to have to, I don't think she can do it. I think Weinstein is going to end up doing this.
The last turn. Claire Weinstein, 19 years old, a freshman, and she is going to come home with a shocker. She wins the 500 free. Cox is second, Dobson is third.
I think this race comes between Moshe and her back half and Husk and her early speed.
And remember, great things you heard about Tori Husk, and then you saw that locked-in game face. That's so much a part of her.
Wow, 21-4 going out. Moshe is going to have to do everything the last 25, and it ain't going to happen.
Tori Husk capping off an incredible NCAA's winning the 100 free.
Wow. Now that's your MVP of the meet. The only swimmer that will end up winning 3 different titles. Unbelievable.
And congratulations to those national champions, and we have more to come from Georgia Tech and the NCAA championships. Back to the Macaulay Aquatic Center on the Georgia Tech campus for more at the NCAA Swimming and Diving Championships. As we move to the diving well, and the 1-meter competition, which was contested last night, wound up being a wonderful 2-diver compete, Cynthia.
Yeah, it was a battle royale, and Sophie Verzile stepped out in the first 3 rounds and did the hardest dive that a woman has ever done on the 1-meter springboard, a forward 3.5. She was in first place, and here comes Chiara Pellicani, the senior from Miami, and she is matching Sophie's difficult dives. In round 3, she was 4 points behind. In round 5, Pellicani does a beautiful reverse 1.5 with 1.5 twist and goes ahead. She went ahead in round 4, stayed ahead in round 5, so it came down to the last dive. Here's Sophie Verzile, who needed 7.5s, and she got 7s. She needed 1 more 7.5 and a little less splash.
My goodness, you talk about thin margins in your sport. 25 100ths of a point to decide the national championship. Is that the difference between one score being a 7-5?
And a little bit of splash.
And now we move to the 3-meter springboard. Here are the standings through 4 rounds. The returning second-place finisher, Chiara Pellicani of Miami, is in 4th place with 2 rounds of diving remaining. Well, now Sophie Verzile in this 5th round, 3.0. She has a 3.4, the most difficult dive of the competition, coming up in round 6. So a chance clearly for points.
She will go ahead right now before the 2 divers that follow her if she gets 7s on this. I think she will receive the 7s, but like I said, it's still a very close contest because I don't know that she's going to receive above 8s. If she gets an 8 on the dive, that would be the high score, I think. And it is very well performed, but it's not going to give her much separation. She's going to move up.
7.5's the dominant score, but still 67.5. Again, we have not seen very many 8s.
She did go ahead of Elna Widerstrom, who was winning going into this round.
Well, this remarkable story, freshman from the UK, Desharn Bent Ashmeal, University of Tennessee, with acclaimed coach Jane Figueiredo.
This woman is diving voraciously. She, right now, will be in one of the top 2 positions going into the final round. The freshman, the only freshman in the competition. Jane doesn't hold back.
And there you see Bent Ashmeal 5 points ahead of Versailles, so she's going to be no worse than second heading to the final round, pending here Chiara Pellicani.
I'm going to make a prediction. I think the freshman, Desharn Bent Ashmeal from Tennessee, is going to be winning. Well, Chiara Pellicani needs 8.5. I think she might get some 8s. I don't think she's going to get 8.5. And so, winning, the freshman, the only freshman in the competition.
Dario hopeful. Pellicani has climbed back, but we mentioned it wasn't just the points, it's the number of divers she had to pass.
Amazing.
Pellicani. And the one diver that has stood strong is the freshman, Desharn Bent Ashmeal of Tennessee, who leads heading to the final round.
This is pretty exciting.
But here's an homage to a very special diver.
Well, we're just thrilled to celebrate Dr. Megan Nyer. She was a national champion, a world champion, an Olympian, dived for the University of Florida, the all-time winningest collegiate diver in the history of swimming and diving, both male and female. Megan won every single event that a diver could participate in at the NCAAs, 8 total. No one has ever done that. I doubt that it'll ever happen again.
That's really nice. You know, Cynthia, you told me this when we first got here to Atlanta. You said, watch this diver. And you could tell when somebody has it.
She has it all. Jane and I talked about it. She said she really doesn't know totally what she's doing yet, but she looks like it tonight. Jane didn't say it that way. She implicated to me that she's got a lot to learn, but her competitive skills are certainly intact. Very nice last round dive from Maria Sanchez Moreno, the sophomore from Arkansas. Her coach, Abel Sanchez, in his 4th round said she gets to the last 2 rounds and she likes those dives.
As you see the overall score, Versailles is in 2nd place, 5 points behind. But again, remember, Versailles has a 3.4 dive in this final round.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. And it's a dive that when she does it well, it scores huge. And she can do it terrifically.
Gonna be Cranford, Texas.
Had just a very, very steady competition. Didn't receive anything basically before a 6.5, below a 6.5 in the competition. And just doing a bang-up job on the springboard. And she's got her best contest yet to go tomorrow with the platform.
Finished 3rd in the
So
1 meter.
proud. She should be so proud of what she's doing. I know Matt is proud of her.
Finals in both springboard events, and now Widerstrom, see if she can shake off a bit of a miss in round 5.
So much better takeoff than the round prior to this. It was smooth. It did not make a whole lot of noise on the end of the board. She rode the board up beautifully. Her artistry comes through. And when you get 8s on your last round dive, you can expect to be in the hunt.
That's the highest scoring dive of this final, the first dive to get 70 points. So that's the bar now. Widerstrom has set.
Beautiful. Well, that was a pretty well performed forward 2.5. It's the same dive we just saw Widerstrom do, but it's not going to help Sheehan Lai, the junior from Kansas, a whole lot because she won't get those 8s that are going to move people up in this round.
Freshman Desharn Bent Ashmeal preparing for the final dive. Can she win a national title as a freshman? Lena Henschel first. We have 4 divers remaining.
Oh, did I like that ride off the board. Again, it requires so much patience to wait on the diving board to depress and then come back up. And then you leave the board and you extend up into the air. Needs a couple more 7s and above to move up in this contest. She was in 6th.
Well, here's the dive. Sophie Verzile, 3.4. What would she be aiming to score here?
At least 7.5, at least. And she can. Can she win her first NCAA title? I don't think she's going to receive as many 7.5s as she is capable of receiving. She didn't quite get on the end of the springboard. And I'm being very picky, but the judges have to be. They have to differentiate. Well, I think they gave her a good amount of points for the beauty with which she did this difficult dive. She completed the rotations and did the twist, and she was way up high in the air.
Look at
I don't
that.
disagree with those scores.
78.2, by far the highest scoring dive. Now, Bent Ashmeal has a tremendous task ahead of her.
She needs 8.5s. I think she's going to get 8s. I do. It was such a well-performed dive. And if you want to pick it apart, let's see. Her feet may have come apart just a little bit right there. She gets them back together.
It was a 3.0 dive, and so she scores enough to move into second. She will not pass Verzile. And so it comes down to what we suspected. You called it, Cynthia. It's one dive, Chiara Pellicani, and she's going to have to nail it to take the national title from Sophie Verzile.
I think she's going to have trouble getting in the top 3. I mean, getting in the top 2, because she would need 9s to go into second. She would need 9.5s to win. She needs 8s. She needs 8s to be third, and this is going to be close. I think she scooted a little too far away from the springboard. Remember, that impedes your ability to go way up in the air. So I'm not sure that Chiara will be in the top 3 in this competition. It's going to be close.
Waiting for the scores to be posted. Everybody looking at the scoreboard at the far end from where the diving well resides. Well, you feel pretty good if you're Sophie Verzile right now, and there's the confirmation. Sophie Verzile of South Carolina put her 3.4 dive in at the end, and she nailed it.
And it paid off. She wins her first NCAA title as a senior. She is a national champion, a U.S. national champion, but never been an NCAA champion, and she does it the last event of her career.
And how about the thrill for Desharn Bent Ashmeal, a freshman from Tennessee. She wins second place. Elna Widerstrom of Minnesota wins third. As you said, it's the Chiara Pellicani of Miami does end up fourth. Well, Sophie Verzile puts her toughest dive at the very end, and on this night she nailed it, and it earns her a national championship. Sophie Verzile's last dive was her best dive, and it won her the national championship on the 3-meter springboard, and she's with Elizabeth.
Sophie, this is a very special moment. It's your last dive as a Gamecock. It's your first NCAA title. First of all, I'm going to give you this trophy. Can you talk about who's here tonight to support you and what this moment means?
My whole family's here, my grandparents, my parents, my aunts and uncles, cousins, and way more people on deck and in the stands that are cheering for me, and it's just so great for this to happen with them here.
Yeah. You chose to put that last dive, your 3.4 difficulty. What went into that mindset, and how were you able to kind of rise above that, especially when it comes down to the last dive?
Well, I think it goes a lot into my training. I do that dive every day, so it's nothing new. And I've also executed it like that in competition several times before, so I had to remind myself it's just like any other competition. It's nothing special.
Was this worth the wait, the 4 years for the national title?
Yeah!
Well, Sophie, it is yours. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, your 3-meter champion, Sophie Verzile.
Time now to honor more national champions as we look at other events competed during this weekend in Atlanta. As we come to the last turn.
Body length, Ted.
And yep, Sims has it. Let's see if Bell has an extra gear. Bella Sims coming in, and Bella Sims is going to hold off the field and win this pretty much wire to wire.
Look at Bell go. Look at Bell. Now she's taking the lead.
And here we go for the last 25. Who can overtake the pain here? And Lucy Bell is pulling away. And Lucy Bell coming to the wall, and she defends her national championship.
And it's still tight all the way through.
And Campbell Stoll at the last turn, like had a slight edge. Wow, look at this coming to the wall.
It may be Stoll.
Another surprise, it is Campbell Stoll on the touch. Yes, by 14/100ths. The updated team standings give you, again, an idea of the Virginia brilliance, not just that they have the lead, Rowdy, the gap.
Yeah, this might be the biggest gap up to this point that we've ever seen Virginia have over on another team over the last 5 years, and it just goes to the point that, you know, they do it with depth. They just, as I've said over and over again, they're able to load and reload every year. This is going to be a good one here.
The women's 200 medley, the only returning finalist from last year is Lucy Bell. Her teammate Tori Husk is the defending champion, but chose not to swim this race. The fastest prelim time was Cal sophomore Mia West.
This is going to be interesting because you've got the strengths and weaknesses of the different swimmers, and obviously Lucy Bell, the best breaststroker of this group by far, won the 200 breaststroke. She may be 8th at the 100. She'll catch up in her. She's also got a great freestyle pick. She was on Stanford's 800 freestyle relay earlier. Virginia will be good though. They've got 2 swimmers in there. I like Gorbanko as well in this race. She's due, that's for sure.
Fascinating because it's a whole new field, Rowdy.
Take your marks.
Yeah, whatever the case is, you'll have a new champion in the 200 IM. Bell is the one that has won an individual title in that breaststroke, and she defended it earlier in the meet. Gorbanko down there at the bottom has a really good butterfly, a really good breaststroke. Those short axis strokes do so well for her. She's awesome in that. Not a bad backstroker either. She swam backstroke at the Olympic Games for Israel, so she's pretty good on her back as well.
And Mia West of Cal had the lead at 50.
Mia West will go out that first 100. Had the fastest 100 split in the preliminaries. You see her inching out just ahead of her teammate, who was also terrific in that first 100. Odell and West will finish 1-2 right there at the halfway point.
And Odell leads by 18 100ths. Third is Gorbenko.
Let's see what Gorbenko has on the breaststroke. Bell, by the way, up there in lane number 6, will have to come back from way back. She was 7th at the 100th. Mia West looking good, though, in this breaststroke. Nobody's really chasing her down. Up there in lane number 7, Leah Hayes looking pretty good. Look how close it is at the 150 mark.
Lucy Bell has the lead. How about that? Stanford side going crazy.
Lucy Bell was spectacular, 31-2 on the breaststroke. Look at Lucy Bell go!
Gorbenko pushing in 2, but coming to the wall. This is amazing. Lucy Bell wins the national title in the 2IM. Cal gets 2nd and 3rd, Odell and West.
Wow. Well, she wasn't 8th at the 100. No, she was. She was 8th at the 100. She was 7th at the 50. Oh my God.
Well, 2nd individual national title for Lucy Bell, a senior from Fort Collins, Colorado. She won the 200 breast and now the 200 IM.
She was 2 seconds behind at the halfway point. She was a second behind at the 50. I mean, she was completely out of it. Fell to 8th at the 100 mark. And then the breaststroke. And then she goes 31-2, which was about a 1.5 seconds faster than anybody else in the field. Hey guys, her freestyle's pretty good too. 26.7 on the end. Nobody else was under 27 flat, except for Amy Canny at 26.9. Wow. And look at
the Stanford team
go
going nuts. That was a personal best by Lucy Bell by 38 100ths to win the national title. Elizabeth.
Lucy Bell, your 2nd individual title of this week, this time in the 200 IM. Incredibly well swum. You were so patient. I want to know, how can you trust your breaststroke and your freestyle like that much?
Yeah, I just know no matter what, for the most part, I'm going to be behind at the 100. And so I just got to go for it. I don't really know, to be honest.
But you're aware that you were 8th at the 100, and then you have to turn on the jets. So what is going through your mind? Are you anxious? What are you feeling?
I think I understand like that I'm going to be there, and I know I just got to go for it and trust that I can hang on at the back half, yeah.
And these moments with your Stanford teammates, what does that mean for them to meet you behind the blocks?
It's great. Yeah, I'm so grateful for all of them. Definitely would not be here at all without each and every one of them, so very grateful.
Well, Lucy Bell, you are yet again a national champion. Ladies and gentlemen, Lucy Bell!
Well, coming up will be the women's 200 back, an event in which the extremely talented Virginia swimmer Claire Curzan set an NCAA record 1 month ago.
Claire Curzan with 5 yards to go wins the 200 backstroke, and she did it with a 1:46.09, a new record. An NCAA record. She snapped her own record from last year with that amazing number.
Now the team standings, Texas has jumped back ahead of Stanford by 4 points. Tennessee pretty solid in 4. Cal just a few points ahead of Michigan for 5. Claire Curzan, there's the record that she set a month ago at the ACC championships. She's already won the 100 back in these NCAA championships, looking to double in the backstroke. Let's relive the 100. All right, again, it's 48-10 is the time to watch. To the wall goes Curzan, and just short. Second best all-time, 48-24. Just 14 100ths off the record. The swimmer to watch right here, Claire Curzan, trying to win a 5th title. 2nd individual.
Another terrific field. Almost took under 150 to make it back. Curzan right there, no doubt, is going to be the huge favorite. Bella Sims, you said 4th fastest time, 2nd fastest performer in history. When she got 2nd last year, she broke the American and NCAA record. But Curzan got to keep it. That's how good Bella Sims is, and she has had a terrific meet as well, already winning the 400 IM. This is all Claire Curzan, though, and the question is, can she break 146?
He's going to ask, is that, what do you think?
I think it's possible. She's got to be 51-1, maybe 51-2. That means she's got to be back under 55. Crazy just thinking how fast that really is, but that's what it's going to take.
Take your marks.
I don't think anyone else can break 147, but who knows? I mean, the way this meet has been going on, this meet is gotta be the fastest meet in history overall. From the depth standpoint, it is unbelievable how quick it is. Curzan's record splits 24/7 early on. There you go. So that's a 24-5. I said 51-1. She's right on track to do that. She's got to feel comfortable. Lay off those legs a little bit, Ted. Here, this first 75 yards. Don't feel like you have to do it all that first 100. She doesn't.
Already a body length out. Bella Sims right below her seems to have a little edge for 2nd.
Here's the big test here. 51. What?
Whoa.
50.7 on the way out.
Wow.
That would have scored in the top 8 in the 100 backstroke. And that was on the feet. Wow, that's electric going out. 50.7, that's the fastest split in history to go out in a 200 backstroke.
Well, we could see a milestone in the next 30 seconds.
118.6 is the record split. 118.1. She's a half a second ahead of that, Ted. Half a second. We have not had an NCAA record here in Atlanta. Could this be the first?
Maggie Wanizek of Wisconsin is pulled into 2nd. Claire Jansen of Penn was 3rd, but now it's Curzan against the clock. 146.09, the number. Curzan to the wall. And just missing. Oh my, a 1/10 of a second. 100th off the record swim from a month ago. Don't you dare be disappointed. That's brilliant.
Absolutely, Ted. You could not have said it better. You cannot be disappointed in a swim like that. 2nd fastest all time to herself. Top 4 times in history. 50.7 going out. 50.7 is a full scholarship to a university if you go that in 100 backstroke. And she went out that in the first 100. Got a little tired. You can kind of see her swaying back and forth a little bit going into that last turn. And getting lost in all of this is Wanizek, who was superb.
And got 2nd.
Right? 147.7 for her. One of the fastest in history for her. But it gets lost when you have a woman right there that's going for the record. It's so close. So close.
Well, it is her 5th title, 2 individual, 3 relay at these national championships. What a remarkable performance we've seen from Claire Curzan of Virginia and from Tori Husk of Stanford. And there you see Erica Pelea's North Carolina State claimed 3rd, Claire Jansen of Pitt 4, Bella Sims comes in 5th.
Claire Curzan, you are the defending national champion in this 200 backstroke. First of all, congratulations. A long week for you, just 1/100th off of your personal best time, which happens to also be the fastest time ever. How happy are you with that swim tonight?
I'm so happy. I think NCAA's, the whole goal is to get your hand on the wall first, so to be able to do it to UVA, it means the most.
Yeah. You are somebody that I love to watch because you exude this happiness, but even in times of the most pressure. What do you love most about racing, especially at this elite level?
I think, honestly, the hormones, you forget the pain and you just want to keep coming back for more. So I really enjoy turning backstroke, and I think it's something I've gotten really confident in. So just always seeing where I'm at is really fun.
Claire, you are having an absolutely historic year. It's like a storybook. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen, your national champion, Claire Curzan!
Well, on this night where Virginia makes women's swimming history, Todd DeSorbo watching just another in a line of extraordinary swimmers. A 5th national title at these championships for Claire Curzan.
Here at these NCAA championships, it's so much more than the powerhouse teams like Virginia. We have a full landscape of teams here on the deck. There are 70 teams competing here. 41 have 2 or fewer athletes in this meet. That means more than half of this pool deck is made up of mid-major schools. I was able to catch up with one of them, Tess Winteray of Colorado State University. She told me that this experience for her has been life-changing. She's never been more inspired to get back to training so that she can try again for her senior year. Now, obviously, with these new qualification standards, there's a wider range of teams here on this pool deck, but one thing remains common. No matter who you are or where you come from, competing at these NCAA championships is a dream come true.
That's great stuff. Look at that, Sycamores. That's Indiana State. Indiana State University, Grace Cummings placed 15th in the mile the first night of these NCAA championships, the first time her school has ever earned points at the NCAA.
Well, a couple of shifts in the team standings updated. Stanford, with 2 wins already, has leapt past Texas into 2nd, and Cal has moved past Michigan into 5th and a little bit close to Tennessee. 4th as we come in the diving well. Cynthia, this is cool because so many of the athletes, the swimming athletes, are sitting here lining the diving well all the way around for the platform.
And this is why the NCAAs is different than any other meet in the world.
Yeah.
Because when you're at the Olympic Games, divers don't get to sit this close, and nobody does. The swimmers are busy.
All right, we talked about Stanford's Ellie Cole. Texas' Bailey Cranford in the finals of all 3 diving events.
She's already scored 29 points for the Longhorns, and she's going to score at least 40 points total, even if she were to get last in this final, and that would be unheard of. She's the 2nd highest qualifier. The highest qualifier is the freshman from Stanford.
Ellie Cole, she was born in New Jersey to an American father and an indigenous Australian mother. But has really grown up in Australia. She was a gymnast until age 11 when she went to diving. Her diving hero was Melissa Wu, a 5-time Olympian for Australia. And Ellie Cole has taken a commanding lead into the final 2 rounds of this. Nice story for Darren Wright. Last competition for her at Purdue. A member of the Olympic team in the Paris Games, finished 2nd in the trials. You said already with a job.
All right, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And you know who Darren's coach is, David Budai. Olympic champion, David Budai. He knows what it's all about on springboard and on platform. There he is.
One of only 2 U.S. champions off the tower in the century, Laura Wilkinson being the other.
David was the last gold medal for the United States individually, and the divers love diving for him. He really models himself after Adam Soldati, who was his coach. Adam Soldati, we know the story, having ALS, and now he's David's assistant coach. And Adam's doing pretty well, which is great to hear. We miss you, Adam. Oh, lovely.
Haley Clark, Florida State.
This is so great. Her coach, Wes Matisse, is only in his 2nd year coaching at Florida State, but he sure has connected with his divers there. She was 19th last year in this event and doing dives that get above 8. This dive is going to score more than 70 points. Fabulous. Wow. So pretty.
There it is, 2 9s and 71 points for Kaylee Clark. See where that lifts her in the overall standings.
She was in 4th. I think she's going to be in the top 3 unless we're seeing dives that get 9.5s and 10s.
There's Viviana Del Angel from Minnesota. champion, national champion, up the tower 2 years ago.
Well, she needs ace on this dive if she's going to surpass what Kaylee Clark just did from Marietta, Georgia, right up the street, even though she's a senior at Florida State. Well, it's a nice dive. It's solid. And I would say in the good category, 7 to 8. Gets a couple of 7s. I might have been a little more generous.
64 points, and you see that leaves Del Angel behind Clark. But now we get to Bailey Cranford with her highest, I'm sorry, second highest DD dive here, 3.3.
Yeah, she's really good at these last 2 dives, which are her highest degree of difficulty dives, and she needs them. She's in 5th place. She's not out of it, but she needs these dives. And nobody knows it better than Matt Scoggin in his 32nd year as coach at Texas. She'll get at least 7s. She'll get at least 7s on a 3.3 degree of difficulty dive. How much will that lift her in the standings? Gets her closer to the lead, or to the top 2, let's put it that way.
Yeah. Going to leave her in 5th place heading to the final round. As we get our look at Ellie Cole, this extraordinary diver, she was representing Australia in the finals of the 10-meter at the Olympic Games at age 17.
Oh, you just don't get more artistically impressed than with that. That is just.
And Cynthia, you for years have talked about the Chinese divers and their entries into the water. She's barely moving water.
And look at that flat palms, grabbing the hands, going in the water. She has all of the talent of a ballet dancer, but she was a gymnast. 10!
A 10. She had one in the prelims. She gets a 10 on this dive. 77 points. Amazing performance. Coming up, the last round of platform diving, and can the Stanford freshman complete a brilliant performance? Well, on the women's platform, we're seeing a virtuoso performance by a 19-year-old. Ellie Cole, born in New Jersey, but again, an American father, Australian mother. She's been in Australia diving for the Australian national program. She represented them in the Paris Olympic Games. Took 3 months, she said, to decide on the offer to go to Stanford. 3 months because she didn't want to leave her coach, Chava Sobrino.
Who's known to be one of the best coaches in the world ever. Everybody respects him. He has been a long-time champ at coaching.
And in this final round, the 5th and last round of diving, you see the team support, and the other story here is the 2nd place race. Stanford with a diver in 1st place right now, Texas with their diver in 5th.
Yeah, this is an interesting scenario because Bailey Cranford from Texas, if she hits this last round dive, it could move her up into the top 3. I don't know if she can get to 2nd, but she can get to one of the top 3 spots, and that would be certainly beneficial for Texas because Stanford, Ellie Cole is so far ahead that, well, she has to do her last dive, but she doesn't have to do it very well. Junior from Florida. Normally a very steady diver. She's missed a bit. She's just struggled in rounds 2 and 3 and 4. Again, just really not real stable in her midsection there. Diving requires so much stability in their core, and looks like she let go a little bit in her core.
Completing her dives in the 52.8, as did Mia Persecki of Ohio State, the prior diver. Sophia Knight, North Carolina.
A number of the divers are doing this back 1.5, this back 2.5 with 1.5 twists as their final dive. And one of the reasons is you see the water in front of you before you enter the water. Some divers feel a whole lot more comfortable trying to find vertical when they can see the water in front of them. Solid round of diving. She really did terrifically, not receiving scores below 6s the whole way through. Very steady.
Darren Wright from Purdue. And you stand up at these moments, Cynthia, say last dive as a Boilermaker.
Yeah, this is her final dive. She's just been tremendous at Purdue and scoring points. On the springboard, nice last round dive. She was in 2nd place, and she is going to stay in the top 3. Of course, there's still 4 divers to go, but that was a solid performance. She's gotten so much better on springboard, has scored points there for Purdue. You can't say enough about what she's given to her school, and I'm sure what the school has given to her.
And what a nice moment there. Being an Olympic champion who's also her coach, taking the dive. And Darren Wright, the 5 dives off the platform, consistent.
Yes. She didn't score below a 6.5. Haley Clark doing a little lower degree of difficulty dive. She was in 3rd place. Now, in order to go in 2nd right now, she does that. She is in 2nd right now. The challenge is going to be for Bailey Cranford to do a dive, high degree of difficulty dive well enough to maybe get into the top 3. But Viviana Del Angel is next. She was in 4th place.
And again, this is reflecting the team competition. This is really divers saying, can I get to 2nd?
In order for her to be in 2nd place behind Darren Wright, she would need 7.5s on this. Well, her feet came apart and she left this dive a little bit deficient. I'm thinking 6.5, maybe a 7 here or there, but it would be generous to have those 7s, I believe.
And as they announce the scores, you're exactly right, Cynthia. Nothing over 6.5, and so that will mean Del Angel will not finish in the top 3.
No, and that opens the door. It just cracks the door for Bailey Cranford here. This is one of her best dives, and that's why she puts it last. And again, put that degree of difficulty.
3.4, and this is an opportunity with that last dive, an opportunity for her to move up at least 1 place and score more points for her team.
Take 7.5s for her to go into 2nd place right now, which would still be behind Darren Wright. And of course, Ellie Cole, the leader, has yet to dive. Nope. You know, I get the feeling that Bailey Cranford was feeling a lot of pressure, and she tried, maybe that old saying of over-trying, maybe. You know, to be in the final in all 3 events, she's had a big week and she's done tremendously, and this is usually her best event. Well, it wasn't in this case.
Nope, didn't succeed on the dive, so that will be a 5th place finish for Bailey Cranford in Texas. And here is Ellie Cole, still just 19 years of age, and 1 dive to win a national championship.
She needs 3s, 3.5s on this dive. She got 8.5s in the prelims. you can't stress enough her grace, her beauty, her accuracy. This woman just broke the record. She broke Haley Ishimatsu's record by just over 3 points. Unbelievable.
A record that stood 13 years.
That is huge.
And
We haven't seen this kind of diving in the NCAA platform contest since Haley Ishimatsu.
I'll tell you, Cynthia, now you know why she made the finals in the Olympic Games as a 17-year-old. You know why Australia is very happy heading to LA 28. And how about Melissa Wu, a 5-time Olympian? She was the diving idol.
Yes.
Ellie Cole. Melissa Wu must be pretty proud.
Good person to have as an idol, too. Look at this. It's like she knows how to do the dives in her sleep. And she was in the hot tub. I thought she was going to fall asleep in there, in between dives. And she gets up and she is so overpowering with all of the beauty and the grace.
Well, we've been talking about all the great swimmers here, yet we've not had an NCAA record. We get one off the tower. A freshman at Stanford, Ellie Cole, setting a new NCAA record, just blasting her way a fraction shy of 400 points. And Stanford with first place points, Texas with 5th place. Affects in a big way the race for second.
What a great contest.
An exceptional performance by Stanford freshman Ellie Cole, their 3rd title tonight. 3 for the tree it is. And Ellie Cole hugging her coach Patrick Jeffrey, himself an Olympic diver for the United States. Let's hear from Ellie Cole now with Elizabeth.
Ellie Cole, you are now the best NCAA platform diver in history. Congratulations, you're also a national champion as a freshman. I want to know, it was so beautiful to watch you. Every single round was just on point, earning 10s. How special was this performance for you tonight?
Oh, it was really special. I'm really grateful to my coach, Patrick Jeffrey. He really helped me get here today, as well as my coach in Australia, Travis Sabrino. But yeah, it was a really special moment.
Tonight, your win was the 3rd win for the Stanford Cardinal. I want to talk about the momentum that you guys have. What is it like to be on Stanford right now and just be on such a high?
It feels really good. The team is so amazing. They're all my sisters, and I just love them so much, and it's so special to be able to celebrate this with them here as well.
Well, Ellie, you are just a freshman, and I have a feeling this is just the beginning of your career. Ladies and gentlemen, your national champion, Ellie Cole!
One race left, the 400 free relay. Virginia will then claim that title. But a great battle between 2 prestigious programs, Stanford and Texas, head-to-head for 2nd place. So the updated team standings give you a sense that we do have a race coming up for the final event of these championships. It isn't for Virginia. They are going to win their 6th consecutive national title. Look at the race, 2-point difference between Stanford and Texas, and both are in the 400 free relay.
Yeah, and the bottom line is Virginia is going to win the relay. They're 5th straight. They'll sweep all the relays. And Ted, I mean, you win championships with so many factors, but relays might just be the biggest. And this is a big reason why Virginia wins year in and year out.
Astonishing.
It is.
And you know, you mentioned, Rowdy, way back at the beginning of these championships that there's no Gretchen Walsh, there's no Kate Douglas, that household swimming name. Man, there's a lot of awfully good swimmers, a lot.
I mean, it's just incredible what they've been able to do over the years in these relays. It's just, you're talking about 40 points. So here they'll score 200 points alone just on the relays.
Well, the field for the 400 free relay, Virginia the dominant team in lane 4, as you would expect. But the real race to watch will be between Texas in lane 2 and Stanford in lane 5 as they battle for 2nd place. And the Virginia team, 2 freshmen, Maddie Mintenko and Sarah Curtis, along with Claire Curzan and Anna Mosch.
And no seniors. They'll all be back next year. The fastest time in history has 3 of those 4 done just last month. Amy Canny is one of those swimmers. And when you look at the team from Stanford, here's the simple math. If Texas beats Stanford by 2 spots, they claim 2nd. If Stanford beats Texas, it's obvious. They get 2nd. If for some reason Texas beats Stanford by 1 spot, they tie for second.
Thank you, Professor.
Oh.
Take your marks.
Well, here we go. 3 minutes of fine freestyle.
Remember, Amy Canny swam that relay last month. On paper, it has Mentenko going second. For Virginia, Curzan just got out of this water in that 200 backstroke, probably just a half an hour ago, so she's got to come back on the second half. You know she's going to be tired. Virginia may not be winning at the halfway point, but they had their 2 best sprinters at the end. Everybody else on this relay has their best swimmer or 2 swimmers on the front end.
And here we go into round 2, and for Virginia, it's Mentenko, freshman. For Stanford, it's Tori Husk, 3 individual titles already.
Not bad, 46.6 for Curzan. And here's Husk in lane number 5. Remember, she just got through winning the 100 freestyle a little while ago. She's right above Mentenko in lane number 5. You'll see her inch up, might even take the lead for Stanford. Again, Stanford up there in 5, Texas down here in lane number 2. That's the other story here. Remember, Virginia, well, and they're not going to go into the lead. That's not going to be a problem. In fact, they could be 133 and still break the record.
And it is Stanford with the lead. IU second, Virginia third, Texas fifth at the 200.
Yeah, Stanford is 2 spots up on Texas. All they have to do is beat Texas by 1. Texas has to beat them by 1 to tie them for second.
This is G.G. Johnson, a senior in the water for Stanford. Virginia with Anna Mosch.
Yeah, I just don't see this holding up. I mean, with Mosch and Curtis, they finished second and third in the 100. This would be, what a session Stanford's having, though. Right now, all they care about is beating Texas.
This is unbelievable for Stanford. Virginia is going to have a slight lead here as the anchors get in. Sarah Curtis for Virginia, Lucy Bell for Stanford, Texas Erin Gemmel is third. So Texas with a shot here in the final 100.
That's a nice job by Mosch.
What does Lucy Bell have left after her own wonderful swims?
He is just having so much of a meet, and this is why Stanford could be behind and have no problem winning this. Remember, 3:05 is the record. Don't think they're gonna get that. But Stanford, here it is, Stanford and Texas. Texas in lane 2.
Erin Gemmel at the bottom in 2. Lucy Bell up top in 5. Virginia is going to win it. And Stanford will get second ahead of Texas. Cal fourth.
And a record to boot.
3:05.26. By 4/100ths, Virginia breaks, no surprise, their own record. And Stanford, with a fabulous swim to claim second, will finish second in the team standings.
Wow.
What an effort. Tori Husk, Lucy Bell, the individual swims they had on this night, and then to have something left for this routing.
Yeah, Mosch 45.6 unofficially. There's Tori Husk coming in, having a great split herself. She's 45 plus. And, you know, two wonderful stories here. If you're a Stanford fan, and if you're a Virginia fan. I mean, no doubt about it, they were not in the lead at the halfway point, no problem, body length win, but right here, that was Texas down in lane 2, close, so close. Gemmel closed in a big way. But Stanford, for the second year in a row, will finish the runner-up to Virginia.
And there are the final results. And North Carolina State had the fastest time in the prelims. That will not count. So those will be the top 8. Wow. So, Rowdy, waited till your last race. You got a swimming record.
I mean, it's been since 2007 since we've had an individual record in swimming.
The last 2 events, diving record, and this 4 free relay swim by Virginia to break their own record. And again, as we say repeatedly, not just the win, but the margin of victory is insane.
Boy, a lot of stuff was going on in that race.
All right, Elizabeth, I hope you have some questions left for these Virginia swimmers.
University of Virginia, you are now the fastest quartet, first of all, to ever do that relay. You have won it 5 years in a row. I want to look at this cap, and Claire, can you tell me what it means to swim for this cap? And then let's give a little nod to the 6 stars and what that means.
It means the whole wide world. It just means we're continuing on the legacy. I know a lot of the women have done speeches this week, and all they've talked about is carrying on tradition and trying to make our 4 sisters proud. And Todd and Tyler do a really great job, and all the coaches do a good job designing the cap. I think just to be able to put it on the last night especially is extra special, and it means the world to represent it. Yeah.
Well, those 6 stars mean that you have won the team national title for 6 years in a row, and we have a little something special for you. University of Virginia, get over here. I'm gonna give... Where's Todd? Oh, Todd, get over here. Todd, you are now officially the coach of the most winningest program in NCAA history, the best swimming and diving program ever. You coach it. What does that do to you when you hear those words?
I mean, it just makes me proud of, what these ladies have carried on from the past and what they've built going into the future. And, every one of them is leaving the program better than it started this year. And, got some momentum and just got to keep it going. It's unbelievable. I don't think it's really set in, and I don't know if they really understand what they've accomplished. But, to have that streak as well as this team scoring more points than we've ever scored, this is not only the best streak in NCAA swimming, but this is the best team in NCAA swimming.
Is there anything that you want to say to this amazing group of women behind you right now?
I mean, I'm just in awe. I say this every year, but I watch what they do in practice every day, and it's unbelievable. And they push each other and they love each other, and they're my heroes. I say that I'm like a broken record, and I'll keep saying it. They're my heroes. I love them.
Todd, Virginia, you are the best team to ever do it in history. Ladies and gentlemen, 6 in a row for the University of Virginia.
And there they are now, one of the 6 winningest streaks in women's Division I NCAA history. That is some exclusive club, and all again in Olympic sports. And that amazing final night performance by Stanford jumps them over Texas into second.
And you have to give credit to Cal as well, going by Tennessee.
And Cal was ecstatic with their relay finish. That earned them 4th place. Look at the far right, Rowdy.
Yeah, it's just, it is. It's just unbelievable. The most in history.
Well, congratulations to the champions, and they've gotten used to this, haven't they? 6 straight years in the splash in the pool to celebrate a national championship, and with so many underclassmen, who knows how long they can run this streak. Already among the 6 best in the history of women's Division I athletics. Well, thank you for joining us this evening, and for more information on all the NCAA championships, go to ncaa.com. Now for Rowdy Gaines, Cynthia Potter, and Elizabeth Beisel, Ted Robinson saying so long from Atlanta. The Virginia Cavalier dynasty continues their 6th consecutive NCAA women's swimming and diving championship. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.